And welcome back to the Monster Hunter World meta series. We're diving into the best builds of the game, or at least the builds everyone uses, for the highest damage and the fastest clear times. This usually determines the meta. Let's see if y'all have better builds to offer. Welcome, hunters of monsters, slayers of beasts. So we got the Greatsword meta here. I'll be going over 3 meta builds: the ultimate in-game build before and after fatalis, and one good mid-range one before you go into the guiding lands. The reason the meta is because of damage and time. The more time it takes to kill a monster, the less meta the build would be. Just built for raw damage output for the Greatsword. So let's get in it. So we're gonna have an Exploiter Charm 2. The reason we don't have a 3 is because you need the guiding lands for it. We're gonna have the Demon Gold Rod. The Demon Gold Rod is from the Furious Rajang. The only way to fly the Furious Rajang before you go into the guiding lands is going to be the Mighty Muscle Monkey Madness quest, which is the Master Rank 24 or higher. 2 Furious Rajangs at the same time do sound daunting. Fight of the Double Furious Rajangs is kind of difficult. If you're having some trouble fighting it in an SOS flare is much easier. Out of all of the things to fight it with, the Greatsword isn't the greatest to fight it with, but if you do fight it with the Greatsword, do the poke and run tactic. Now I'll go over why and how the build works. You can use whatever mantles you want. The Temporal Mantle is goated. I have an Exploiter 2 charm on just because an Exploiter 3 charm requires the guiding lands, and this build is for things that don't require guiding lands materials. For the armor, I have 3 pieces of Brachydios and 2 pieces of Grand Gods. The 2 pieces of the Grand Gods armor also come from the Furious Rajang. This is regular Brachydios armor because a mid-game build, not an in-game build. The reason for Brachy and Raging Furious Rajang for the Agitator secret and the Maximum Might secret. 5 levels of Maximum Might. We have 40% affinity when our stamina is full, and we have a little bit extra time after we do that to spend stamina for free without losing our affinity. 20% affinity, giving a 60% affinity when the monster's angry, which it should always be because you should always be wall bashing when you're capable of wall bashing. Agitator is stronger than attack boost, but I still have attack on here just because I had a leftover slot. I have focus on 3 levels of critical boost, 3 levels of weakness exploit, and 3 levels of health boost because I don't want to get one shot with this armor on. You can upgrade the armor, you cannot. It's up to you. It depends on your skill level. Whenever we're hitting a weakened part, we have 100% affinity with this build. Unbuffed, this does 1400 damage to the training dummy. Really decent at this stage of the game. And this is going to be your good mid-range build. Now, the in-game build with fatalis is going to be a Frostcraft build. The Frostcraft you're going to get from Arc-Tempered Velkhana. All pieces except for the arm pieces, and from the arm pieces you want the alpha from fatalis. We have maximum critical eye, maximum agitator, 3 levels of attack boost, maximum crit boost, maximum weakness exploit, peak performance, and resentment. And the peak performance isn't on there because I wanted to, it's just on there because I need 4 levels of Velkhana's armor. It also comes with 3 levels of coalescence and a level of resuscitate. Honestly, think this much damage on a build is unnecessary. If you just take off a couple of slots for things that you want to run, like evade window, evade extender, or earplugs, it definitely has room for any of that, and you'll lose very little damage. Now, the pre-fatalis gear is going to be a Raging Brachydios Greatsword and a Teostra arm piece beta. You're still going to use the Gamma because this is still in game. You're still going to have maximum critical eye, agitator, resentment now, which is just more damage. You can trade out the resentment for something else if you wanted to. It is not that big of a deal. I will explain Frostcraft for anyone that doesn't know what Frostcraft does and the amount that it does. Here we have 4 levels of Frostcraft. The first level, at level 4, this is called the stage 3 boost. This will give you a 25% damage bonus to all weapons except for hammer, greatsword, and heavy bowgun. Contrary to common sense, Frostcraft does not deal elemental damage. What it is a damage bonus modifier on your weapon. So whatever you're hitting with, it amplifies that type of damage by 30%, whether it's raw or elemental or both. Every time you hit, it spins some of your Frostcraft points. Then you have to sheathe your sword for it to rebuild again, and it builds very slowly if you're not attacking, and much faster if your weapon is sheathed. The way you play Greatsword with Frostcraft is a little different. You can get some very high numbers out of this. Not to mention you get bonus damage from the blast from the light break edge. Keep in mind, all of these numbers are unbuffed. There's no buffs happening here. I haven't eaten either. If you have all of your buffs active, plus the Assassin's Hood on, which you can't get anymore, you can do somewhere in the ballpark of 4,000 damage on a true charge. Alas, I started playing on the PC after the Assassin's Hood was unavailable. Now, your playstyle with Frostcraft on a Greatsword will differ slightly. So your first attack matters more than anything else. 800 damage, that's almost half of a true charge slash. So you'll get more damage out of just charging up this attack and using it as often as possible, instead of trying to get the true charge slashed off. However, if you can get the true charge slashed off, it's just more damage. Damage is key in the meta. The Greatsword meta is pretty fun. It is strong with the fatalis set. I plan to do all the weapons in the meta series, 3 builds each, 1 mid-range, 1 before fatalis, and 1 after fatalis. Let me know what I should do next, and what your favorite builds are, meta or not. No one cares about the meta anyway. This is Monster Hunter, not Call of Duty. Subscribe for more damage, but have fun out there. Bye!